Radio Dominique DiPrima. Go, sis.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning and God bless. Happy Wednesday, hump day, they say. I'm Dominique DiPrima. The show is called First Things First. And my first thing today and every day, giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from the Most High, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders. And let's go. Man, is it wild around here. Anyway, this is how we do the show on Wednesdays. Hour 1, we look local. Hour 2, we go national, international, and beyond. And in the third hour, we do a deep dive, hot topic, person of interest. Today, we will be talking with Judge Songhai Armstead, who is the leader of Justice, Care, and Opportunities here in LA County, which is really a national model for alternatives to incarceration, and see what's new in that space. And there's a lot, trust me. I'm joined this hour by the contributor for KBLA, who is also writer for the LA Progressive and host of the Conversation Live podcast, James Farr. Good morning.
Good morning, Dominique. How you doing?
I'm blessed and highly favored.
You look
How
favored.
Are you?
I'm good. You look you look favored.
Even though I have on a giant coat, because to me it's cold.
No, it's freezing outside.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to hear it, East Coast fam. I don't want to hear it. For me, it's cold.
It's cold. I mean, it's not Bay Area cold, but it's cold.
Really? I think it might be Bay Area cold today.
I was just there. It hit a little bit different. We have 70-something degrees waiting on us at some point.
Right.
So we'll be all right.
Probably.
We'll be all right. This sweater and jacket gets peeled off.
True that. Layers. It's all about layers. Well, I was glad to see the Malibu fire kind of stopped. I guess the winds just died down in the nick of time because the whole town was more or less at risk. So it was a pretty big burn, but most of the structures were spared, and it looks like there's still some evacuation possibilities, but it looks like it's mostly they mostly dodged a bullet.
Mm-hmm. No, it's living in fire country. I mean, Malibu is beautiful, right? But I'm not one that wants to live in a forest environment. Like, I'm an urban kind of person, and so I'm marginally prepared for urban hazards,
urban disasters.
disasters.
That's it. Yeah, well, and that is definitely the heart of fire country. I love Malibu, but sliding down a cliff and one road in, one road out makes me nervous.
Well, and I'm not a coastal person either. I have a huge fear of tsunamis, right?
Really?
Yeah.
I have a huge fear of being landlocked. I need to see, I don't know, maybe it's, a slavery thing. I don't know. I need to see an escape route at all times. I'm not sure if that's ancestral or what.
Yeah,
but
I can see that.
Give me a coastline, please.
I can see. I enjoy the water. I enjoy visiting the water, but it's not something I want to live.
So thus the Pasadena residency, which is perfect because you are landlocked.
I am landlocked.
You evidently like mountains.
I do like mountains.
And controversy.
Well, a little bit of controversy, but the mountains have been there. The controversy and the issues that seemingly plague some parts of our community don't have to be there. Yeah.
Well, but you've brought us some interesting news about some things that are going on in Pasadena, and we'll look at, of course, a few issues here in LA proper, Southern California, California as a whole. 800-920-1580 is the number if you want to call in. We are on social media at KBLA 1580. My handle is DiPrima Radio. It's DIPRIMA and then radio. James is James Farr Live.
Yeah. Cross socials. I'm even on Blue Sky now.
Okay. Did you follow me?
You didn't follow me back.
Oh, my bad.
So you haven't been there.
So did you unfollow me?
I didn't.
No,
I unfollowed some other people on other platforms.
I have been there, but I just didn't notice. I guess it's because so many people are following me.
It's your popularity, Dominique.
Right, which is definitely on the rise. Although I will say I have a whopping 195 followers
On Blue Sky?
Yeah.
You know what? I got to get my game up because I think I'm at 3.
Well, you will have 4 next time we go to News, Traffic, and
I
Sports.
even posted
You
there
will
this
have
morning,
4. Yeah, well, maybe can you go live on Blue Sky? Maybe we should go live on Blue Sky.
Can we get a tutorial session on all of this stuff first? Because we got some generational challenges going
maybe Miles might be able to. But I don't know, Miles, do you mess with Blue Sky?
I just made one after hearing you say how popping it's been. So I haven't tried it yet, but I'm sure we should be able to.
We got to figure out how to go live on Blue Sky. Hopefully, it's not like TikTok where you have to have 1,000 followers to go live.
See, I didn't even know that, and I just joined TikTok, so I'm.
You just joined in time for it to get canceled. Although I don't, you go. You don't think it's going to be going.
I don't
Me
think
neither.
so. I mean, it's. Who's it? Who's trying to buy
Steve
Mnuchin?
Mnuchin, the former Treasury Secretary.
Yeah, it's a property that would.
Bankster.
Yeah,
but China has to agree to that. You can't force. I mean, hostile takeover. I doubt. I know that he who shall not be named, the 47th president-elect, has decided he likes TikTok and doesn't want it banned. So I assume his minions will find a way to wrest it away from the Chinese and save it. And I put air quotes around save because that means it'll be like controlled by a Elon Musk type acolyte.
Right. And that's no good, as we see how Twitter or X now, right, the algorithm is.
I call it Twitter because I know Elon hates it when people call it Twitter. So I call it Twitter. Just the little things I can do to irritate him because he's doing big things to irritate me, like removing our social safety net for.
You're trying to get banned. That's what you're trying to do.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm shadow banned already.
Well, I mean, I'm sure the things that you post don't, stimulate the algorithms of Twitter because it's counter to what he's messaging.
They stimulate the own the libs algorithm.
Own the libs. I gotta look that one up. How do I get on? Are they on Blue Sky? 'Cause I want to get to 6 followers before I leave here today.
Yeah. Well, Miles will probably follow you. Maybe Tavis will follow you. That would add up to 6.
That would add up to 6.
Yeah.
I'm on my way.
You're on your way. What's your handle?
It's James Farr Live.
James Farr Live.
Yeah.
Very consistent.
Very consistent.
So, yeah. So you're not leaving X, or you did already?
I'm there. Because I kind of want to see what's going on. I do a healthy balance of information that I'm absolutely not interested in because
Right.
I want to hear what other people are saying, right?
Absolutely.
And kind of know what those, So maybe when I come here, then you will say I sound like a Republican or those are Republican talking points. Like I'm just being informed by.
I only say that when they are.
They never are. They're my thoughts, but
Well, here's the thing. I seem to notice, especially lately, quite a number of progressives spouting Republican talking points. They may think they've repurposed them and that they're no longer that, but that's how it lands to me. Butch Ware yesterday on Tavis's show. If you missed it, you can find it on a podcast. Just like you can find any of my shows wherever you get your podcasts. You can get them on the app. They're free. He was doing that. I've heard a number of people doing it. And it's can we come up with our own talking points, please?
see, Dominic, look, okay. We're almost in a new year, and we're almost in probably the worst 4-year cycle that in our lifetimes, right? But I kind of want to leave Trump behind, but I know we can't. We got to continue on with it. But that issue of the thoughts that may sound like Republican talking points can just be questions, right?
To me,
I've never been accused of being, you sound like a Democrat, right? Like
if it sounds like a Republican talking point, all I'm asking is that you rewrite it to make sure you're very precise in your meaning.
Well,
That's
probably,
all I'm saying.
yeah. I highly doubt that I am repeating something word for word. Like I'm not that would be quoting, and I would attribute it. I'm a journalist, right? I'm not going to take.
You're a journalist, but my theory about talking points is we hear these things going around and around in the media sphere, and then absorb them And there's a part of it we agree with, so we say it and don't even realize where it came from.
Well,
I know you're a very thorough journalist.
I try to be, but I can hear some things without ingesting it. Whereas I think you and I have a different training and a different understanding of media literacy, and so we can.
I'll give you a perfect example.
Okay.
The so-called Democratic plantation. That started as a Republican talking point to shame black people for being Democrats. And I hear lots of so-called progressives say that now.
So are you?
And that is a Republican talking point. You're saying that because black people choose to vote for the Democratic Party, that they're slaves. And that is both insulting and it's also literally word for word a Republican talking point.
Well, how I phrase that is plantation, right? Not plantation, but it's some of us are planted there. Yeah, it's a play on word. No, it's
that's a little too subtle for the human ear.
It's not the same point.
It's the same disrespect. If I choose to vote Republican and I consider myself a progressive, that doesn't mean I'm on a plantation. I'm actually a thinking, critically thinking, informed, also a journalist, an opinion a talker.
Right.
That doesn't mean that I'm on a plantation. You don't agree with me. You don't assume that it's because I'm stupid. I just might have a different viewpoint than you.
So what I said is plantation, right? It's a play on the words. They've been planted there, right? I mean, you know exactly what I'm saying, Dominique. Go ahead, our Father.
I am. I walked through the valley of the shadow of death.
Did you do your meditation this morning? Did you?
I sure did.
I'm glad,
and it's a good thing.
I told you
you
looked favored.
Let me tell you something. It's a full moon in Gemini this weekend, and Mercury is retrograde. So it's
I'm unarmed.
I shall leave it there.
I'm unarmed.
I'm not just talking about me. Don't cross Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? Don't come for Prince. He'll come back from the grave for you. This is not the week to be trifling with the twins. That's all. I'm gonna leave it there.
Yeah, you know what? I don't want the
Our
smoke.
werewolf is out.
Yeah. Oh Lord. This is Ola Ray, Michael Jackson. Is Thriller.
It's a Thriller.
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
It's the Thriller in December.
Yeah.
And it ain't in Manila. 800-920-1580 if you want to call in with your own repurposed Republican talking point. And we have some interesting news about what's going on the east side over there in Pasadena. That and more when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward. Are you an entrepreneur looking to take your business to new heights? KBLA Talk 1580 is your partner in success. Every day, we celebrate and elevate Black-owned businesses across our community. Our KBLA SMB Marketplace currently features The Cookie Dip, Badass Bakes, Hair Concoction, Higher Education Accreditation Consulting, LACC Radiology Technology Department, and Malik Books. Your business deserves to be heard. Let KBLA Talk 1580 amplify your voice and connect you with our powerful community of listeners. Email smb@kbla1580.com today. That's smb@kbla1580.com. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out.
Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out.
Oh, Downy in the rinse shade.
Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and it delivers. One wash, it smells so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
Hey, Mom, I've been meaning to talk to you about some new COVID information I saw online.
Uh-huh.
I read that 3 out of 4 adults in the United States have a high risk factor for severe COVID-19. And Black folks like us with certain conditions like diabetes, heart disease, mental health conditions, or being 50 and older are at high risk.
Boy, you sound like a commercial.
I'm just saying. I know you love your ginger teas and essential oils, but remember, there are treatment options for COVID-19.
I promise if I get sick again, I'll call my doctor to ask about my options.
The revolution will not be televised.
This is Brother Cornell West. My dear brothers and sisters, I'm full of joy and delight to announce that I'm joining the precious family at KBLA Talk 1580, founded and led by my dear, dear brother Tavis Smiley himself. Yes, the name of the show is Truth Time, and I'll be working with the inimitable Nina Turner out of Cleveland, Ohio, sister of great vision, and we will be on weekday at 12 noon. We will be following Brother Tavis Smiley's show. We will begin Monday, January the 6th. That's right, Monday, January the 6th. Get ready for a different kind of insurrection. We coming with Martin Luther King Jr. and Fannie Lou Hamer and Curtis Mayfield and Aretha Franklin, and gonna add a little Gil Scott Heron too, as Nina Simone sits at the center. That's right.
The revolution will be live.
That's what we gonna do. Please come with us on this fantastic voyage.
The revolution will put you in the driver's seat.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now, it's really exciting. We have, starting January 6th, we have Dr. Cornel West as a regular member of our AIR team, as well as Jesse Jackson Jr. and Dr. Corte, Dr. Nicolai Corte gets a promotion to afternoon drive. So really, really exciting for 2025.
Man, what a treat for the KBLA delegation. That's an awesome lineup. That is an incredible lineup.
Yeah, I think it is. And now, your presidential candidate will be on our air every day, so you'll have no excuse not to listen every single day.
Every single day. But, I have backdoor channels, so I can.
What does that even mean?
Yeah, I get to hear a lot of things. But, no, I think that's a great gift and gem for the KBL delegation. Jesse Jackson Jr., Dr. Cornel West, Dr. Nicolai, and then Tavis, and obviously we get to wake up to you every day.
Actually, it starts with Tavis. Yeah, I mean, it starts with me. Really.
Starts with you. I mean,
you don't. You have to go through this door. That's why it's first things. But no, I mean, I'm just, it's next level, I think. And you want to talk about some progressive bona fides?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. So, tell me what the heck is going on in Pasadena. Why has the Pasadena NAACP race turned into the Middle East?
As one headline said, called it ugly. Others have called it controversial. So essentially, there's a new election that happened for new officers. A young brother by the name of Brandon Lamar, who previously ran for city council unsuccessfully, but also is a commissioner on our rental board in the city. He ran against another branch member, Brother Ron Matthews. Brandon won the election. The previous president, or current president, Alan Edson, and a group of others allegedly have filed a complaint with the National NAACP office, alleging that there were some irregularities in how Brandon campaigned and in the election process.
So it's Stop the Steal, the Pasadena NAACP version.
It is Stop this. Here's the thing, Dominique.
Wow.
It's shameful, right? It's really, this is one of those situations where, I'm all for transparency and folks doing, call people in, not necessarily call them out. But this is one of those moments where I wish this stuff had stayed internal, right? That it should, first of all, it never should have been in the public. The Sentinel ran an article, which I think was spot on and described what was happening. There was no inaccuracy in that. There was some mishandling in the election committee process. The current president, Alan Edson, who through court documents, you can see him linked as attempting to endeavor to fix situations with the police and the community, not in a way that benefited the community, but very close ties. You see
to make it go away.
Yeah, you see documentation of contracts between the city and the branch. The branch has not provided financial records to its members in the last 6 years. I'm afraid what we may really find out underneath this, but Mr. Edson, although it's not confirmed, right, but it is the belief that Mr. Edson gathered a group of 25 members to allegedly file a complaint, right, against the election in an attempt where we are now is they want to throw out the election, which by bylaws would allow for Mr. Edson to remain as the president. The question is...
so they wouldn't have a do-over.
A do-over, they have to have a do-over. I mean, the election is a part of the process. Here's the problem. If the National has to come in and oversee that election, it will cost the branch money. It's unnecessary. And ultimately what they're endeavoring to do is to strip Mr. Lamar's membership with the NAACP, thus disallowing him to run again.
And how many members does the Pasadena NAACP even have?
Take a guess.
12.
A little more. No, I think it's important to point out, my understanding is about 475.
Okay.
But what's important to understand is that this particular branch was the 16th chartered unit of the NAACP nationally.
So it's old.
It's old, 105 years old. So
and that is kind of unusual for California too.
There's a lot of tradition, that some are holding on to. There's some shiny objects that others are holding on to. Some want seats at the table, just so that they can say they're at the table. But what is alleged to be going on is that there may be something a little bit more nefarious in terms of contracts and kickbacks and
So the 16th chartered NAACP chapter may, and I know you always you're real careful with your sources, may be a corrupt organization.
I won't say that the 16th chapter chartered may be a corrupt organization. I believe that there are some actors within the organization that are self-dealing. That's documented. I mean, and let's put it this way: when this first started kind of coming to light, it's something that I've been tracking for the last 4 years. This particular administration, when this first came to light, my first response to folks who called me is, "Y'all sure y'all want to do this right after Kamala Harris just lost the election? Is this the space you want to be in?" And they were sure that they want. Somebody went to, I guess, the Sentinel and started talking, and then there were other articles that came out. But here's the thing, Dominique, these recent articles that outline that 25 members allegedly have filed a complaint with National should not have been in the public, right? Which means someone leaked that information. This has amounted to a smear campaign, which I think is disgusting. It's distasteful. It's unnecessary. It's a smear campaign towards Mr. Brandon Lamar because some of the old guard does not want him to lead. He's a 30-something-year-old progressive young Democrat.
Okay, so that's interesting. That's important. But why did the rest of us that don't live in Pasadena and are not part? Okay, we got to take this up after news, traffic, and sports because we only got 30 seconds here. But here's the question: why do those of us who are progressives or just engaged care about the dust-up at the NAACP in Pasadena? The other thing we're going to get into, because you were on the scene yesterday doing your journalist thing, is the surge of white supremacist activity at Beverly Hills High School following the election of he who shall not be named.
I'd call it blanketed racism.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get into that when we come forward. And we're taking your phone calls on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know from BIN News. The Supreme Court is likely to weaken a key environmental law with conservative justices suggesting limits on which environmental impacts should be considered in government decisions. This could affect projects like drilling, mining, and pipelines. President Biden and First Lady Dr. Jill Biden will host the first White House conference on women's health research today, bringing together advocates, business leaders, and academics to discuss progress in women's health. The Yankees have signed left-hander Max Fried to an 8-year, $218 million contract, the largest ever for a left-handed pitcher. Fried, formerly with the Braves, has a 73-36 record and started the clinching game of the 2021 World Series. And the Mega Millions jackpot is rolling over again with no grand prize winner Tuesday night. The next drawing on Friday will now be worth at least $670 million. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
USC's women's basketball team had no trouble with Fresno State last night at the Galen Center. The Trojans, ranked 5th in the country, dominated Fresno State 89-40. Juju Watkins and Kiki Irefin combined to score more points than the entire Fresno State team. Irefin led the Trojans with 24 points and 12 rebounds. Watkins finished with 21 points and 5 assists. The 9-1 Trojans are back in action Sunday against Elon at the Galen Center. Kawhi Leonard practiced with the Clippers Tuesday for the first time this season. Leonard has been doing rehab and treatment on his right knee since training camp. He was held out of contact activity, but participated in most of the team's offense and defense drills. Clippers coach Ty Lue said there is still no timetable for when Leonard might be able to play. The Clippers are 14-11 without Leonard and have the 6th best record in the Western Conference. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up, Oscar!
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. The Live Your Life organization mentors young women, helping them break negative mindsets and see beyond their surroundings. Through career exposure and hands-on training, they're encouraged to think big, stay focused, and make positive choices. Founded by Nikisha Mama Boo Smith, who transformed her life to become a community leader. Live Your Life is changing lives, but they need your help. They're raising funds to keep their new building open and expand their program. Your donations will support food, clothes, hygiene products, and holiday giveaways. Visit liveyourlife32.com. That's LIVEYOLIFE32.com to help today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
On behalf of her precious family, it is with profound sadness that KBLA Talk 1580 announces the passing of our beloved colleague, Robin Ayers, on Thursday, December 5th. Robin was a bright light. You could see her radiant smile through the radio. We all respected her immense talent, loved her jovial spirit, celebrated her love of family, and honored her faith in God. Our thoughts and prayers are with Robin's entire family, most especially her husband Rob and her twin daughters Brooklyn and Madison. We ask you to join us in praying for the Ayers family as they navigate the difficult days ahead. In her honor, all this week, we're broadcasting the Best of the Rob Report on KBLA Talk 1580. Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, and you were saying, James, you never met Robin Ayers. It's hard for me, they're playing the Best of the Raw Report. It's just sad. I feel that there's like there's definitely speaking of blankets, like a blanket of sadness over the radio station at her loss. But it's nice that people can get a chance to hear her work. And of course, she leaves behind a powerful and joyous presence on social media.
She does, and like I said, I hadn't had a chance to meet her, and I'm not a big pop entertainment kind of consumer, right? But when I would listen or want to find something interesting, I would check for what she was saying about certain issues, because she just had a way of, I don't want to say sensationalizing it in a way that it was just for the clicks and kind of the grab and the headlines. Like, you really felt a person was behind the content,
mm-hmm.
and it was done with the care. So, my condolences to her, you and the others who knew and worked with her, as well as her, her husband. And I understand that she was a mother of 2 twins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's heartbreaking.
May her memory be a blessing, for sure.
And what I love is that it seems like everybody in the world is reporting on it. So she's at least getting a send-off that's fitting of her spirit,
Absolutely.
So, okay, so the first thing is, why do we care about Pasadena? Molly Bell said Attorney Kerry Harper got us all involved in Pasadena, and that is true. With the police murders and such. But what else?
Well, speaking of what Molly Bell is talking about, she's talking about when Attorney Ben Crump, and you were even at that press conference in Pasadena when Anthony McClain was murdered, shot twice in the back by a Pasadena police officer, Duma Gwendon. At that time, the president, Alan Edson, had made some disparaging remarks about Anthony McClain, and essentially that his life didn't matter. That was a time when some tapes were leaked of him in conversations, and inappropriate conversations. Your question of why should we care? We shouldn't care, right? Because this shouldn't be in the media. No one should have ever known about this, and what may end up happening, because Edson, the president, Matthews, the first vice president who's running in Lamar, all of them spoke to the media. So they all stand to be sanctioned about this. But I can confirm that the national office has not received a formal complaint as of yet.
Oh, so that was just a threat.
Well, that's what some media outlets, Local News Pasadena published and Pasadena Now published. They published leaked information.
There was a complaint.
There was a complaint.
But you
National has not confirmed that they have received a complaint. There is a process even once a complaint is received and responses to get to a resolution. So I can confirm now. I spoke with Daryl Good, the area director for the National Association, National Advancement of Colored People. Lamar is the president-elect and should be sworn in January. Now we got to stop the steal situation really going on. Will Edson amicably turn over the keys, turn over documents? Like, it's
election denialism and the Banana Republic vibe is really contagious.
Well,
apparently.
it's just shameful when black folks take on white supremacist
habits,
behaviors.
Morris Phillips says, when I think of Pasadena, I think of racist police and the Rose Bowl.
They're both still there.
Yeah, well, let's go to Willie calling us from Palmdale. Good morning, Willie.
Good morning, Dominique, and to your guests. I just hope I don't just sound ridiculous, but you think New York might have the right playbook for reparation than California? And another question is Timbuktu Grand Central Park?
Huh? That did sound crazy. I mean, was that some kind of an analogy? No, Timbuktu is not literally Grand Central Park.
Central Park,
which is not Grand Central.
What do you mean by that, bro?
It was some land given to black people in New York City by this person. I can't recall his name.
Okay. I know that there's supposed to be graves in Central Park of enslaved persons. I don't remember the details of it.
And I don't know enough about what's happening with New York's reparations to even comment.
Yeah, look, I do. California's light years ahead of New York. New York is doing it, which is great. They have now a state reparations initiative, but there was controversy about how it was drafted. It's moving forward, so that's good. But California already has a whole report, which is a model for much of the nation. And although we didn't get the bills that we wanted on the floor, I believe we will get them on next legislative session. We did get the apology. We did get now already another law introduced by Assemblymember Bryan, who's advocating that descendants of slaves get priority admission to Cal State and and the UC system. So
That's good.
yeah, New York they're doing their thing, but they have a ways to go, as do we, but they have even more of a ways. I don't know what to tell you about Timbuktu, but I'm not.
Yeah, because I always thought Timbuktu was in Africa.
Yeah, it's in Mali.
Africa.
That's why I was like, huh?
Yeah, I didn't take that class.
Yeah, because it was a town titled Timbuktu in New York, some land that was given to black people.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
So beneath Central Park's concrete pathways is the ruins of Seneca Village, an old African American settlement. So that is probably why I thought that there were. I believe there are graves there. And this was taken through eminent domain. So maybe that's what you're thinking of. Kind of like Bruce's Beach. So.
Yeah, it was just that the title kept getting to me, Timbuktu, because
yeah.
you used to say, I kick you back to Timbuktu.
Okay, I don't know about that part. But I know that that was all torn down and they built Central Park. So maybe through DNA we could have a Bruce's Beach situation where black people could just get Central Park back.
So you think we have
and then sell it back to the city?
We have ancillary rights to Central Park?
I mean, possibly.
Oh.
You look at the model of the Bradford bill that the governor refused to sign was meant to help black people and others who lost their land through racially motivated eminent domain. New York could get there one day.
So maybe possibly Trump Towers is built on... I'm reaching.
I mean, yeah, well, reach for the stars. Reaching. Why not? Okay, so thank you, Willie. I don't want to run out of time here. Time goes so fast on the radio. You were in Beverly Hills yesterday.
Yes.
Since the election, we've been hearing reports of raucous, racist celebrations, KKK graffiti. Some of the white people are wiling out. And emboldened, not surprisingly, by the election of he who shall not be named. What did you discover yesterday?
That one, it's not necessarily white students. It's primarily Persian students with in an attempt to access whiteness. These are immigrant students, mostly Persian. Yesterday, the press conference was held by attorney Brad Gage and a teacher who has also been in the media, Bella Ivory. She was the teacher that was in the classroom when the, what they're calling a Trump mob came parading down the hallway, yelling F Kamala and a bunch of other things, right? Now, obviously, when we see this stuff in the news, it's like, okay, maybe this is isolated. Maybe it isn't all of what we think it is. But when I was at the press conference, one, talking with other students who were around before the conference, they all confirmed that this is a systemic culture there. And two, there were a group of students endeavoring to intimidate the teacher while she was in the middle of the press conference.
Really?
I mean, the blazingness of this.
Weren't there law enforcement around?
No.
It's Beverly Hills, and there's no law enforcement. That doesn't
the whole
even
city
sound
is
right.
surveyed, so I'm sure they were. I'm sure they were.
Yeah, but
were
in other
watching
words,
us.
they're winking, nodding.
Yeah,
They're
they're looking at us.
carry on.
But that followed up by 90 minutes at their school board meeting of testimony from alumni, parents, current students, really documenting what is going on at the school. I mean, N-word written on walls. You know, there's videos circulating online of students making comparisons to a clean classroom and then a classroom with black students in it. I mean, the cafeteria with black students in there. It is a very pervasive culture. Now, again, I read the LA Times piece yesterday, and, you know, the officials are denying that this is happening. That's fine, but when you're there and you see it for yourself, I can tell you it's happening.
Well, yeah, I mean, and the clips you posted from social media, I mean, they document it. The other thing is, though, when the LA Times reported on it initially, which was a couple weeks ago or whenever, right after the election, the faces that they showed in those photos were white boys.
Right.
So you're saying they're skipping over it, or that it's a sprinkling of white people and the rest are Persian?
I don't know.
Or Iranian is really what it is. I guess Persian we don't even really say anymore.
Well, this is how they self-identified.
Yeah,
this is how they self-identified,
and that speaks volumes.
as they were heckling or endeavoring to intimidate and disrupt the press conference.
Right, because if you're Iranian, that doesn't really fit into Trump world.
Right.
Persian, that means they're still under the Shah.
So it's, I mean, I don't know what intention the LA Times had with the photos that they chose, but what I'm hearing and then what I observed, there were no white students that came over there and tried to intimidate this teacher. There were no white students who came over there and tried to disrupt a press conference.
Did you talk to any of these? Well, we'll look at that when we come forward. I want to know if you talked to any of these white adjacent persons. I will continue the conversation when we come forward. James Farr, Dominique DiPrima, KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
Hi, I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You've been hearing me guest host here on KBLA Talk 1580, and I'm having a blast. But I'm excited about joining the official lineup here at KBLA Talk 1580 starting Monday, January 6th at 1 p.m. Start your day with First Things First and Dominique DiPrima at 6 a.m. Check out Tavis Smiley at 9 a.m. Tune into Truth Time with Dr. Cornell West and Nina Turner at 12 noon, and then tap in with me on The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show at 1 p.m. weekdays. I served 17 years in the U.S. Congress, and I can tell you it's going to be a rough 4 years, so let's navigate this journey together. It's The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, starting Monday, January 6th at 1 p.m. on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Are you tired of being stuck without internet access? Connect and go with LA County Library. It's simple. Visit your local LA County Library location and borrow a hotspot for free to get Wi-Fi wherever you are.
This season, Chevy brings classic pairings, cookies and milk, mistletoe and kisses, and your holiday plans and a new Chevy. Silverado 1500 gives you power and capability with 430 pound-feet of torque to haul your holiday tree. Equinox EV and the all-new Equinox offer award-winning quality and style to see you through the holiday season. See why Chevy makes everything better and brighter. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Yeah.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this? We didn't think so. You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
Here with James Farr, who's been investigating the situation with the flare-up of white supremacist philosophy at Beverly Hills High. It's probably been there all along, it sounds like, from what you're saying. Paul Lee is saying hate is taught. Those youth are a reflection of the parents who raised them. They're also a reflection of the class warfare, because most of the Iranian, Americans that live in Beverly Hills are well off.
They're well off. They were able to fast track many of them their visas and green cards because they had the resources and whatnot. And that's something that was pointed out at the board meeting by many of them, is that one student, a former student, talked about when the whole collapse of what was happening in Iran back in the 80s and stuff, how they came to the community and they were accepted and welcomed, right? What's happening now is, you have these students, and you're talking about it being the parent. There was a parent with these students yesterday evening, disrupting the press conference, right? And so it is something it is obnoxious. It is systemic, but
Well, I put this in the FAFO category because I think Stevie Wonder said you might have the cash, but you can't cash in your face.
Right, but to see this very strong black woman, this teacher, Miss Bella Ivory, standing there with her two young adult sons, right, but still feel a palpable fear from students endeavoring to intimidate. Well, they did intimidate her.
Is she still teaching there?
Right now, she's on a leave,
and she's suing.
She is. There is intention to file a complaint and a lawsuit. Gage is representing, I believe, 2 teachers, as well as other students are coming forward. This is a very pervasive thing that the city and the school district would just rather go away.
Yeah, but the city of Beverly Hills has a history of this. We saw that with that so-called quality of life task force, right? Where they were just rounding up black folks.
Yeah, you mean where someone was watching video cameras and directing the police to, snatch people out of Ubers, or if someone kind of marginally went over the stop sign, they'd pull them over.
Or for people shopping and hanging out.
Yeah, just for being black in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, and so that I'm sure they do want it to go away. But was there any official response at that press conference?
The school has not responded as of yet, and as you know, of course, you heard comments at the city, not city council, but the school board meeting, but those are that's air, right? These are board members just talking. They haven't responded yet. They denied it in the LA Times that the things exist. And now I would assume that it's moving into litigation, that they'll button up and won't say a whole lot going forward.
Yeah. Well, so what's your takeaway for the community as far as what we ought to be doing, tracking, or knowing?
Specifically in Beverly Hills, I was first shocked to learn that 3% of their school population is black. I know less than 0.5% of the Beverly Hills city is black.
Yeah, but they need football players.
Don't do that, Dominique.
There's a quality.
No, seriously, there's a quality education.
I'm not doing that. I know kids who have been sent recruited by Beverly Hills. I'm not making that up.
I know. There was a whole TV show about it, right?
True.
But I think what we have to understand is that these students need support. Right. These things are really happening to them. Right. You know, these students, most of these black students are not students from wealth. You know, they come into the city, or, you know, I guess the high school would be, since it's south of Wilshire, kind of in the slums of Beverly Hills. Right. So it's surrounded by multi-unit apartments and whatnot. Right. But these students do need support. It was great to see the same area director for the NAACP there in support and in solidarity with the students, and
different NAACP, by the way.
Yes, different NAACP area. Like, this is a bigger situation, but they're meeting with the superintendent and school board members, and so, you know, folks need to support organizations and individuals that are doing that kind of work, and maybe not so much some of the other ones who aren't.
Yeah, and, you know, I think we have to, even though whatever you said, I don't know the exact number, but it's a tiny number, the population of Beverly Hills.
Yeah, less than 0.5% and maybe 1% total population, but 3% of the school population.
But nevertheless, I think it's important that we do track it, because you can't just let people spout KKK rhetoric and, you know, and harass teachers and students like this was 1954.
You have black janitors that have to wipe the N-word off of bathroom walls, and clean up feces and some of the other disgusting things that these teenagers are doing. It's not just teenagers being teenagers. This is learned toxic behavior that will continue to show up in these students as they matriculate through school and become adults.
Willie Frazier says, don't do what? It's the population less than 3%. Where do the black kids come from? Oh, we're still busing kids in athletics.
Not necessarily. There are some parents that do. Like I said, there are apartments. So if you think about it, the rent is still cheaper than sending your kid to a prestigious private school. The educators at Beverly Hills High are PhDs, they have masters, single subject credentials. So the education is great. I get that part, but it is with a sacrifice. Some students aren't even coming back to school because it's so bad there, right? They're being homeschooled.
Yeah, well, and I don't blame them. I've shared this before on this show. I put my child into some of those elite environments. They get an amazing education, but you know, in hindsight, you say, was it worth the microaggressions, the macroaggressions, the toll it took on his spirit to access that privilege?
It's a debt.
And I don't know the answer.
It's a debt and a burden putting your kid in some, you know, and though they get a great education, but there are some other things that they'll have to reconcile.
Well, yeah. And also, you know, track. Because from my experience within that community, if those kids, black kids, push back, they'll be the ones punished and expelled.
What I can tell you is this is just the start, right? These things are just coming to light. It's been ongoing, and as more students come forward, these are videos that have been posted on the school social media platform, some of these videos, and then removed. So once they get into discovery and more students come forward, I don't think we're going to see that this is just a one-off or a reaction to Trump winning or a celebration of Trump winning. This is a culture and a systemic issue inside of the school and the district.
I mean, and it's just an emboldening. Yeah. It's an emboldening of an existing culture. Yeah. Remind us how to track you. Follow him on Blue Sky, and me too.
At James Farr Live across the socials.
Well, and then your writings as well.
Yes, over at the LA Progressive. I'm going to finish up this piece hopefully today about what I observed yesterday, as well as the NAACP pieces in Pasadena. And, you know, folks need to get involved.
Yeah, well, you always do great work, James, and I hope that everyone will support the LA Progressive. It's an excellent publication every single day. You can get it for free. Sign up at laprogressive.com.
Thank you.
James Farr, it's always fun talking with you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming in.
Absolutely. See you in a few hours.
See you in a few hours. I won't tell you why. We got journalist things to do. News, traffic, and sports, then more. Actually, it's a Wealth Building Wednesday on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. The Supreme Court is likely to weaken a key environmental law with conservative justices suggesting limits on which environmental impacts should be considered in government decisions. This could affect projects like drilling, mining, and pipelines. President Biden and First Lady Dr. Jill Biden will host the first White House conference on women's health research today, bringing together advocates, business leaders, and academics